Throughout my years of hearing all about the Evil Dead franchise and simultaneously not watching any of them for whatever reason, I gathered that the general consensus that people I knew that were fans of the film, and also just from interactions I had online, was that all of them were really good, but the weakest one was Army of Darkness. And it makes sense. It's the least similar to all of the other ones, it's barely 80 minutes long with credits, and if you can believe it, it's the silliest of the three as well. So I went into this one with just the slightest ounce of apprehension since I enjoy the first two movies so much, and I wanted to temper my expectations to avoid disappointment. And I don't know if it's just because I did that or not, but this one probably wound up being my favorite of the three. Another reason why I could see this people being cooler on this one than the others is that it utterly abandons any attempts at horror or even the mere aesthetics of horror. Evil Dead 2 does function almost solely as a comedy, but the setting and practical effects still line up with what you would expect from the genre, at least at the time. Whereas here it goes full Monty Python meets Princess Bride, and aside from practical makeup and an army of deadites, this is straight up fantastical comedy. The coolest thing to observe over the course of these first three movies is how Raimi and co. adapt to having a significantly higher budget on each film, while simultaneously shrinking the runtime. The first film was made for $350K, the second for $3.5 million, and this one for a whopping $11 million. And once again, you can see where every extra dollar went. It's the largest scale film of the franchise, period, not just of the original trilogy, and we're pretty quickly greeted with super refreshing wides and crane shots, and an utterly insane level of production value, comparatively speaking. There is a mild issue here that the first film similarly suffers from, involving character. Ash is still the only character in this one that I particularly cared for. Sheila, who is the damsel in distress archetype here, has a couple of funny moments here and there, but overall, even though most of it is played for parody and laughs, the way she immediately falls in love with Ash and functions as that archetype hasn't aged the finest. We get a lot more insight into who Ash is as a character in this one too. He's been through hell and back not once, but twice at this point, and now he's stuck in yet another dimension, so it would be more of a shock if he wasn't a jaded, sarcastic asshole off the cuff, and it makes for some especially hilarious moments, particularly in the first 20 minutes or so, as he's desperate to prove himself to these people. And out of all of the quotable lines and moments in all three of these movies, "This is my boomstick" is probably my favorite one. For how much of a maximalist genre shift this one is from Raimi's previous films, the direction here and the action sequences is still rather strong. There's some choreography work in the final battle scenes that can feel a bit jaded, sometimes intentionally for laughs. And the actors generally have a feeling that they're terrified of slicing their scene partners open with their weapons, but the thrills are still super high. The bottom line is these movies accomplish more in their micro runtimes than most films can do in over 2.5 to nearly 3. Fun fact, you could start the first film in this trilogy at the same time as the extended cut of Return of the King, and you would then finish Army of Darkness at essentially the exact same moment you finished that extended cut. Not a knock on Return of the King by any means here, it just goes to show you how much you really can accomplish with genre films like this if you know the value of each second of screen time. For how much this film does get done in 80 minutes, if there was ever a time the pacing faltered, there would likely have to be some reconsideration on Sam Raimi's part as to whether or not this field was for him. It kind of has the perfect ending for a film of its type, too. The Necronomicon still exists at the end of it, and there's certainly more than one way to go about bringing it back to transport Ash to another dimension, if the executives in charge see fit, but the story itself is wrapped up super neatly, and Ash as a character is returned to where he rightfully belongs. There was a somewhat darker original ending that Raimi had included involving Ash getting transported to post-apocalyptic London, sort of in the vein of how Evil Dead 2 ended, but the studio made him get rid of it. And I can't believe I'm saying it, I think it might have been the right call. Not that I don't want that movie made or anything, and if it was made today, you can trust that I would definitely be the first person in line to see it, but if God forbid the franchise died after this and I was forced to live with that cliffhanger forever, I would be utterly devastated. Regardless of how you may feel about the future installments in this franchise, these first three movies are a wonderful testament to the perseverance of independent artists and filmmakers, and still serve as a major benchmark of the genre that are often imitated, but never duplicated. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching the video, and for continuing to tune into the October binge this year. We are covering a new film on the channel every day this month, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when each video goes up. Thank you all again. Like the video, share the video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.